A lot of people out there are super worried about what AI and robots and automation are going to do to the job market. And entry-level jobs are already getting wiped out. A generation is worried that they're never going to be able to have a career. But don't worry, okay? Elon Musk wants to assure you that all of that stuff happening and all these jobs going over to robots and AI is actually good for you because you're gonna end up richer as a result of it. So prepare yourself for some epic level oligarchic gaslighting. We're gonna take a little walk to how we get to that point. So just follow me as we go through a few tweets that caught my eye. So this guy, David Scott Patterson, has this long ass tweet about how by 2030, all jobs will be replaced by AI and robots, which I think is probably not gonna happen in the next 5 years. Every job is gone. But regardless, he thinks it's gonna happen. And he talks about how all these jobs will be replaced and it's gonna take over faster than cars and all that. And that gets a reply from the owner of the platform and the second richest man in the world, Elon Musk, who says your estimates are about right, which I'm not a genius like he is, but I'm gonna say his estimates are wrong. Also, bear in mind, Elon Musk told you that the Cybertruck would cost $40,000. So his ability to estimate things is a little bit in question. Regardless, he says intelligent robots in humanoid form will far exceed the population of humans, as every person will want their own personal R2D2 and C3PO. And then there will be many robots in industry for every human to provide products and services. Again, I don't believe that in the next 5 years, they're gonna be 10 billion robots, but that's what he's saying. So then another person says, well, when robots replace working people, how will those who become unemployed sustain their lives? And that is really the million or perhaps $1 trillion question. If we all lose our jobs, what happens to humans? But don't worry about that, Elon Musk says, genius that he is. There will be universal high income, not merely basic income. Everyone will have the best medical care, food, home, transport, and everything else, sustainable abundance. So not only will there be universal basic income, no, everyone will be rich because corporations will have AI and robots. And I have just one follow-up question. Why the hell would any of that happen? Think about all that's already been automated. And they haven't raised the minimum wage, they're cutting Medicaid. But for some reason, when even more people lose their jobs, they're suddenly gonna dole out free healthcare, free food, free housing, free robocars and all of that. Why would they do that? Why would that be the way that it works? Now, I understand that Elon Musk is just lying. He's just gaslighting you. He wants the stupid peasants that he has no respect for to just lay down and let the takeover happen. And then eventually it'll be too late and you can complain whatever you want. You'll be living in cyberpunk 2077 by that point and you'll have no power to change the situation. But he would, I assume, have you believe that, it'll just produce so much products and all of that the government will be able to afford to do all of these things. Now, bear in mind, his identity to this point has always been about cutting government spending. So it's a bit of a switch for him to now say the government's gonna suddenly take over for every need that you have. But also, why would government revenue go up? I mean, corporations theoretically might pay more in tax if they're producing more products, but this movement has slashed corporate taxes as much as they possibly can and are likely to continue to do that. Also, all of these people who no longer have a job will no longer be paying income tax, so that's gonna provide a bit of a strain on the government as well. None of this makes any sense whatsoever. The only thing, Jordan, that makes sense to me is this is a guy who believes that he can become a trillionaire if he's allowed to use AI and robots to do that. And along the way, he needs to convince people to let that happen. I don't know. Maybe this is just a weird thing that bothered me, but what do you make of all this?
Yeah, I mean, it's laughable. Like you and I can see, no, that's not going to happen. This guy has had an active, unique role in undercutting all of those proposals that he talks about. Medical care, food, home, transport, everything else. We'll have the best. Don't worry about it. This guy helped implement massive sweeping cuts to healthcare infrastructure, to the SNAP program. He played a role in undermining the development of high-speed rail in California. That's what he has actively done. Why would you believe a tweet from this guy? And also just this worldview, I don't want that. I don't want a world where everyone has a personal robot. I didn't even like having a Roomba. Why would I want some noisy clanker banging around my house, trying to flip flapjacks, talking while I'm sleeping. Get out of the way. I don't like noise to begin with. I don't want some noisy tin can bouncing around my home.
Oh my God.
I'm serious.
First of all, if you're trying to convince me to not want a personal robot, which I do. I don't agree with anything he's saying, but I like robots. I like R2D2 or whatever. Saying that it's gonna make me pancakes is undercutting your point a little bit.
Yeah, that's probably not the best example.
And also for a lot of his followers, saying that it's gonna be banging around the house is kind of the point for a lot of them. They want it to be banging around the house, to be clear. I'm not against robots. I just don't think, by the way, what he says, that AI and robots, we could have a world where all these things are taken care of and there's sustainable abundance. That could happen. It just won't happen if he's in charge of the process. We could set things up so that we're all freed up to not have to do 40 hours of drudgery every week. And instead we can devote our lives to bettering ourselves and producing art and all of that. We could do that, but they're not gonna do it. What exactly does he think is gonna happen? Someday, like Jesse Waters is gonna do a segment about how awesome it is that houses are being given away to the poor for free. Like their movement would hate every bit of what he's describing right there. It's gonna be on us to produce sustainable abundance and set up a system that allows it. But that is not gonna require more deregulation or letting AI companies go 10 years without any new laws being written. No, it's gonna require more regulation, higher taxes on these corporations to make sure that people whose lives are upended as a result of AI and all of that are made right. They're not gonna simply give it to us. It has to be taken. It has to be demanded.
Yeah.
Anyway,
John,
any other thoughts about clankers?
I got a lot of thoughts about clankers. How much time you got? It's like he's using like Star Wars terminologies, R2D2 and C3PO. That's not what he really wants. He wants companion. He wants the movie companion. That's what all these guys on the right want. That's it. It's just some
thing,
humanized fleshlight that they want.
Exactly, with a charging port or something. By the way, Companion, very good movie. Everyone should go watch Companion. Movie. There's just been great sci-fi horror lately. I just watched The Assessment. I really enjoyed that. That's a little bit more arty or whatever, but Companion was great. We were talking about weapons in the break. It's a great time for horror movie fans.
If you enjoyed that, then make sure that you never miss another video by subscribing. And if you want a little more, consider hitting the join button and becoming a member. So you're probably wondering, why would I do that? Well, when you do that, you get access to bonus content that I make every single week, and it's a lot of fun. You get custom emojis and more. If you join at tier 3, by the way, you even get access to a monthly member hangout with myself. And you'll get all that going forward, but you'll also unlock years of the back catalog that is literally 100 or more bonus clips and top 10 lists and debates and more. So what are you waiting for?